The peanut butter cookie sat innocently on the dessert table at my best friend's birthday party, looking like every other chocolate chip cookie around it. I'd triple-checked with Sarah's mom. No nuts in anything, she'd promised. But promises don't mean much when someone's been planning your murder for months. I'm Haley Kim, 17 years old, and severely allergic to peanuts. Not that I get a little itchy, kind of allergic, the my throat closes up and I die in minutes kind. I've carried an EpiPen since I was 4, when a bite of pad thai nearly killed me. That bright yellow injector had saved my life 3 times over the years. I trusted it completely. I trusted my sister Chloe too. Big mistake. The reaction started within seconds of my first bite. That familiar tingling in my mouth, the tightness in my chest, the feeling like someone was squeezing my throat closed from the inside. I knew immediately, hidden peanut butter in what was supposed to be a safe cookie. My pen. I gasped, already wheezing. Someone get my EpiPen. Chloe was there in an instant, my purse in her hands. Ever the protective older sister, 19 years old and always looking out for me. She fumbled with the zipper, her face a mask of concern. I've got it. She pulled out the familiar yellow injector. Hold on, Haley. She pressed it against my thigh and clicked. I waited for the relief, the rush of epinephrine that would open my airways. Nothing. My throat kept closing. It's not working. I wheezed, panic setting in. Black spots danced in my vision. Chloe clicked again, harder. Come on, come on. I gave her the EpiPen, but it didn't work, she screamed to the gathering crowd. Someone call 911. The last thing I saw before passing out was her face. And for just a second, I swear I saw her smile. I woke up in the hospital 2 days later with a tube down my throat and my parents crying beside my bed. The doctors said I'd gone into full anaphylactic shock, survived only because the paramedics got there in under 4 minutes and had real epinephrine. You're lucky, Dr. Patel said after they removed the breathing tube. Another minute or 2, and we'd be having a very different conversation. But I used my EpiPen. I croaked, my throat still raw. Chloe gave it to me. About that, Detective Rivera entered the room, her expression serious. We tested the EpiPen from the scene. It contained nothing but water. Distilled water, to be precise. My blood ran cold. That's impossible. I check my pen every week. The expiration date, the window showing the medication. The window showed clear liquid, which epinephrine is, she interrupted. But so is water. Someone replaced the medication with water, then carefully resealed the device. We need to ask, who had access to your EpiPen? The answer made my stomach drop. Chloe. She knew where I kept my purse. She often reminded me to check my pen. She'd even gone with me to pick up refills from the pharmacy. Helpful, caring Chloe, who'd been there with my useless pen when I needed it most. There's more, Detective Rivera continued. The cookie you ate, we tested the remains. It was made with peanut butter. Not accidentally contaminated, but intentionally made with enough peanut butter to trigger a severe reaction. But Sarah's mom said. Sarah's mom didn't make those cookies. They were brought by someone else. Your sister arrived early to help set up and brought a batch of special chocolate chip cookies she'd made. She put them on the dessert table herself. The room spun. Chloe had baked cookies with peanut butter, knowing I'd eat one. She'd replaced my EpiPen with water. She'd been right there to save me with a useless injector. She'd tried to kill me. Why? I whispered. Why would she do this? My parents couldn't answer. They looked as shattered as I felt. But Detective Rivera had been investigating, and what she'd found painted a clear picture. Your college fund, she said gently. Your grandmother left you both money for college, but yours was significantly larger. She favored you because you reminded her of herself. If you died, your portion would go to your sister. $300,000. That's what my life was worth to Chloe. Grandma had left me $300,000 and her $50,000, citing my academic achievements and plans for medical school. Chloe had smiled at the will reading, hugged me, said she was happy for me. All while planning my murder. We pulled pharmacy records, Detective Rivera continued. 6 months ago, your sister purchased EpiPen trainers, the practice devices that don't contain medication. She bought 4 of them. Paid cash, but the pharmacy's inventory system logged the sale. Trainers. The devices that look exactly like real EpiPens but contain no epinephrine. They're meant for people to practice using the injectors without wasting expensive medication. Chloe had bought 4 of them to practice her swap. We also pulled security footage from various locations. Your sister was recorded practicing the swap in her car multiple times. She'd take a trainer and your real pen, switch them quickly, then switch them back. She was preparing. The full scope of Chloe's plan emerged over the next days. She'd researched anaphylaxis extensively, learning exactly how long someone could survive without epinephrine. She'd practiced baking with peanut butter, testing different amounts to mask the taste while ensuring a lethal dose. She'd even timed previous allergic reactions I'd had, taking notes on how quickly I responded to treatment. But her biggest mistake was the pharmacy trail. When investigators dug deeper, they found she'd been researching EpiPens for months. How they worked, how to open them without breaking the seal, how to tell if one had been tampered with. She'd even posted in an allergy forum asking, hypothetically, what would happen if someone used an EpiPen filled with water? The responses had been unanimous. The person would die. She planned everything, Detective Rivera told us. Except she didn't plan on us testing the pen. Most people would assume it malfunctioned or was expired. But the paramedics were suspicious. EpiPens don't just fail. When they tested it and found water, we knew this was attempted murder. Chloe was arrested 3 days after I woke up. She'd maintained her innocence, claiming she must have grabbed a trainer by mistake. But the security footage destroyed that defense. The pharmacy had cameras that caught her buying the trainers. Her apartment building had cameras showing her practicing the swap in the hallway. Even the coffee shop where she'd sat researching anaphylaxis had recorded her laptop screen in the reflection of the window behind her. The most damning evidence came from her own phone. She'd recorded herself practicing, critiquing her technique, making sure the swap was smooth enough that I wouldn't notice in the panic of a reaction. In one video, she even practiced her concerned sister act, screaming, "The EpiPen isn't working," to an empty room. At trial, the prosecution laid out the meticulous planning. The defendant didn't just try to kill her sister, they stated. She weaponized her sister's life-threatening allergy, turned her trust into a death trap, and practiced being the grieving sister who'd tried so hard to save her. Chloe's defense tried to argue it was a prank gone wrong, that she'd never meant for me to actually eat the peanut butter cookie. But her research history destroyed that claim. She'd searched how much peanut butter to kill someone with allergy, and how long before anaphylaxis is fatal, and inheritance laws for siblings in California. The jury convicted her of attempted murder in under an hour. The judge sentenced her to 25 years, noting the exceptional cruelty of the crime. "You used your sister's medical condition as a weapon," he said. "You practiced her murder for months. You stood there and pretended to save her while watching her die. This court has rarely seen such calculated evil. I still carry an EpiPen. 2 now, always from sealed packages that I pick up personally from the pharmacy. I check them obsessively, testing the weight, examining the seals. Trust, once broken by family, doesn't come back easily. The college fund that almost cost my life sits untouched. I can't bring myself to use it yet, knowing Chloe valued it more than my existence. Grandma wanted me to become a doctor, and I will, but not with blood money." Sarah still blames herself for the party, though it wasn't her fault. Chloe had specifically asked to bring cookies, had insisted on helping set up, had placed her deadly batch right where she knew I'd reach for them. Sarah's friendship saved my life. Her house was close enough for paramedics to reach in time. I've spoken to other people with severe allergies since then. Many were horrified but not surprised. "My biggest fear isn't accidental exposure," one told me. "It's someone doing it on purpose." We trust so completely in our emergency medications, in the people who help us manage our conditions. That trust becomes a vulnerability when someone decides to exploit it. Chloe wrote me one letter from prison. No apology, just complaints about how unfair it was that I got more money, how grandma always loved me more, how I'd ruined her life by surviving. I didn't reply. What do you say to someone who practiced your murder like it was a dance routine? The pharmacy where she bought the trainers now keeps them behind the counter, requiring ID and logging every purchase. The pharmacist told me I wasn't the first. There had been other cases of people using trainers to replace real EpiPens. Just not usually family members. Detective Rivera stayed in touch. She told me the case had changed how they investigate allergic reactions. "We always test the emergency medications now," she said. "Your case taught us that sometimes the danger isn't in the allergen, it's in the antidote." My new EpiPens are kept in a locked box only I can open. Paranoid? Maybe. But I've learned that the person most likely to kill you isn't a stranger in an alley. It's the sister who knows exactly where you keep your life-saving medication and exactly how to replace it with water. Chloe had 6 months to change her mind. 6 months of watching me check my EpiPen, trust its presence, rely on her to help in emergencies. 6 months of opportunities to stop, to choose my life over money. Instead, she practiced the swap until it was perfect, baked her deadly cookies with care, and performed her role as the panicked sister trying to save me. The security footage showed her practicing for weeks. The pharmacy records exposed her buying the tools of my death. But it was the water in my EpiPen that told the real story, that the person I trusted most had turned my lifeline into a death sentence, then acted shocked when it didn't save me. She gave me an EpiPen full of water and screamed for help. The paramedics gave me real epinephrine and asked questions. The difference saved my life and sent her to prison, where she'll have 25 years to think about the sister she tried to murder for money. I survived because paramedics are trained to be suspicious, because pharmacies keep records, because security cameras are everywhere. But mostly, I survived because 4 minutes was just fast enough to save someone whose sister had practiced their murder to perfection. The EpiPen that should have saved me contained only water. But the truth, unlike epinephrine, couldn't be replaced with something harmless. It was there in every record, every video, every practiced movement. Proof that sometimes the person holding your medicine is the one who wants you dead.